do try and get this many women a month. I'd love to know that. And then how often is this happening over there?
It's really hard to get numbers. We spoke to organizations who are on the ground, sort of taking care of the victims. Some of them managed to escape and come back. And they say it's in the thousands, but it's impossible to know exactly how many. It is unbelievable. The craziest part of it is because our hands were sort of tied behind our backs in terms of reporting. We had the government minder with us at all times, a police officer, like everything we did. We went out in the middle of the night to try to film behind their backs. It was really hard. But we actually were able to contact a group of local journalists who were actually doing their own investigation, and they were mainly Chinese, and they were able to film undercover. So we saw them. They went and had meetings pretending to be buyers in northern Vietnam, and then they also went to some brothels in China, where you are given. They showed us. It was like lists and lists with photos of girls, their bodies, them. It's not like modeling, advertising.
Right, their
company.
height, their weight, their body,
but it's for girls that are for sale. Wow. And so it's he was seeing like a whole catalog of beautiful girls. Some of them look like they were 14 years old. And they're going through the catalog, and then they can just point and say, I want this one. And then that person is delivered to you. It's crazy. And a lot of them are being held basically at these brothels on the border in China already, where this guy also got access. So he went in, crazy video. He went in, it's a long corridor a dark corridor full of rooms. And then the brothel woman, he told them that he was there to meet a wife. And the one woman opened the door. He goes in, he gets in, and there's like 3 or 4 women in there. And there's total darkness. He can't see a thing at all. And he's hearing, they're communicating very low and talking to him and saying, what do you want? What sex do you want? Let's do it. And he was like, oh no, because he's a journalist, undercover journalist, and saying, I don't want sex. And she's like, please, they'll beat us if you don't have sex with us. And he had been locked inside at this point by the woman, the brothel owner on the outside.
So he had to do it?
No, and then he managed to figure out a way where he started knocking on the door and saying that he had to go, that something had happened, and came up with an excuse to leave. But even him, and he's an undercover journalist that covers the worst of the worst crimes, he was telling me it was one of the most depressing and nerve-wracking things he's ever done in his life. And these 3-4 women holed up in there in total darkness and forced to have sex with men that come like this. And then a lot of them are sold to become brides as well. Yeah, it's dark.
Is there regulation in those areas over that sort of thing?
They say there is, but obviously what we found is that there isn't.
And this is part of a new episode?
Yeah, this is one of the episodes of this season. Yeah.
How do you leave a place like that and not bring it with you, not feel like you have to go back and do something? What is that like? I
think that's the hardest part. It's not so much about bringing this. A lot of people, I get asked sometimes, why am I not depressed and, at home locked on drugs because of all of what I've seen? It's not so much for me. It's not so much that it's the fact that, we live a little bit on somebody's nightmare for a day, and then we have the privilege of coming back. And, we're almost like, feels like we're exploiting their nightmare because we want them to share their stories.
Yeah, I can see how it could feel like that at times. How do you manage that feeling? I mean, how do you manage that?
I'd say that the way that I rationalize it, I'm not patting myself on the back, because I think journalists love to say that they have a very important job, and I do think journalism is important, but I'm not the kind of journalist that goes around, telling people I've got the most important jobs. There are jobs that are more important. You don't see teachers going around saying their jobs are important, and I have no idea why journalism.
Neither one of us is Lester Holt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Let's be realistic.
But I do think that the way I rationalize it basically is that, putting the story out there and being able to gain access to these worlds and showing why this is happening, I'm hoping that then we are holding power accountable. We're telling those people in power that this is happening and trying to change the system, because at the end of the day, for me, it's not so much that people are broken, it's that the systems are broken, the systems that allow these things to happen. Whether we talk about immigration, or we've reported on fake pharmaceuticals and how Mexican cartel and groups in India are making these really